Hi everyone, this is going to be a two-part tutorial for doing two things that'll help with managing time relative to your appointments that are upcoming with behavioral intervention, psychological services, using your calendar outside of Centralreach, as well as potentially creating an automatic SMS or text message to your phone when you have an appointment coming up. These two things can actually be done independently of one another in that you don't have to link your Centralreach calendar to your outside calendar, and you don't have to set up the automated SMS. But I use both for my day-to-day needs because it's helpful to me, and you can make that choice. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to be using three different platforms. One of them is Centralreach, where we're going to get our calendar link. The other is a calendar app, and that calendar app can be Google Calendar, it can be your iPhone, it can be Outlook Calendar, any kind of calendar that allows for an external link, and I'll show you how that works. And then we're going to use Zapier or Zapier.com, and Zapier can be a free or a paid service. I use the free service. You do not need to pay for this. It's a pretty simple, well, I will say this. It's simple in that the free part of it allows for simple operations. I definitely needed to do a lot of research to figure out how this works, and it works nicely. You also need to remember where you did this if you ever want to turn it off, because it will go on indefinitely. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to log into Centralreach here. Okay, so once we're into Centralreach, we're at our home page, right? And what we're going to do is go to the calendar, and we're going to get a link for our calendar feed. This is probably the easiest part of the operation that we're going to do today. All right, so we're going to go up to our scheduling module and do view my calendar. And once we're here, we see my calendar and my appointments. And what we're going to do is go up to the upper right. We're going to go to settings right here. And once we click on that, we're going to go to calendar feed. Click on calendar feed, and it might give you the option to create a link as opposed to refresh or disable. So in my case, I've already used this link. I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm going to just highlight that link. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say copy. All right, then we're going to close this. So this link tells an outside service to show your calendar that's within Centralreach. Now that I'm done with that, I can go ahead and log out of Centralreach. I actually don't need Centralreach anymore today for this. I'm going to close this here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our calendar. In this case, I'm just going to use Google Calendar. This is what I use to coordinate multiple schedules that I have that I need. Now, I already have my calendar linked into my Google Calendar, but I'm going to do it again and then delete it later for the sake of this demonstration. So once you're in your calendar, if it looks like this, and you have all these different things, shows that you're logged in here. It shows you your other tools with Google Calendar. In my case, I know that my other calendar feed is here on the left, main menu. I click on main menu, and it gives me an option to create an appointment. We're going to go down to where it says other calendars, and we're going to click the plus button here, and we're going to say add other calendars. And once we do that, we're going to do from URL. We're going to add another calendar from a URL. Remember, we just copied that URL from Centralreach. So what I'm going to do here is click from URL, and then that code that I just copied in, I'm going to paste here. And we do not want to make this calendar publicly accessible. We certainly don't want that to happen. But we're going to add this calendar. So it's telling me that it already exists in my Google Calendar. What we'll do is, once we do add that calendar, actually, you know what I'll do is I will just go ahead and delete that here. I'm going to delete that. We're going to remove that calendar so you could see this. We'll go add from URL. I'm going to paste this in, and we're going to do add calendar. And once I did that, you can see it showed up here now, calendar.centralreach, whatever. I'm going to just click on that. I'm going to give it a more friendly name. I don't like this name, so the URL stays the same, but the name of the calendar, I can call it whatever I want. I can call it ABA Therapy, right, with proper stuff there. And now it shows up on my other calendars as ABA Therapy. Or I could show it as ABA Therapy BIPS, right? And now it's shown up here as ABA Therapy BIPS. So when I go to my Google Calendar and I look at all my other calendars, it shows up as ABA Therapy BIPS. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to Settings. I'm going to change that once more because for me, I don't get ABA Therapy. I'm going to call it BIPS Work. Okay. We're going to go back, and now it shows up on my other calendars as BIPS Work. And if I don't want to see this calendar, it doesn't take it out of my other calendar feed, I just unhighlight it. I bring it back or take it away. Okay? And that's just from view. It's still in my calendar feed. And actually, in my phone, since I have an Android phone with Google Calendars in it, this will show up in my phone as well. Now, one thing to note here is that all of my calendars that show up in Centralreach are showing up here now, but all of the content is hidden, except for the start time of the appointment. The reason is Centralreach is a HIPAA-compliant platform, and this is personal information about a healthcare appointment. So, even though I don't receive therapy, nor do I deliver therapy, it treats all of the appointments exactly the same. So it's hiding all the content. All it's showing me is that I have a Centralreach CR appointment tomorrow, which is Saturday the 25th at 8:45 a.m. In this case, that just happens to be office coverage. But if I was delivering service, that would be the start time of my service that I'm supposed to provide. If I was receiving services, that would be the start time of the services I'm supposed to receive. And the content is hidden. Who it's with, what's happening, that's all for the protection of the client. So what we've just covered is the first part of this operation, which is going into Centralreach, retrieving a link for your calendar, and inserting that link into Google Calendar or another calendar service for you to have it in your phone or your computer or wherever it is that you check your calendar so you can always see these things. Let's go to the next part of this. The next part is to create a Zap in Zapier. So Zapier is this service that allows for automation. You could see they brag about all the different companies that use their product. And as they state here, you can build custom workflow where something happens and then something else happens. Okay? You can do a lot with this, but like I said, they have a free service, and that's what I use. So first thing I'm going to do here, in this case, I already have an account, so I'm going to log in. But otherwise, you're going to want to sign up, okay? And you can either do it through your Facebook account, your Microsoft account, or just through an email with your first and last name, okay? So you could do Google, Facebook, Microsoft, or email. Sign up whichever way you want, and then once you do that, you're going to log in, okay? Once you log in, it takes you to a dashboard, and it gives you an option to create a Zap. And this is where we'll get started. So before we move on, I just want to say a couple of other things about using Zapier or Zapier. I'm sorry that I really just don't know how to pronounce this thing. So I really want to say Zapier, but I don't know. It sounds like it should be Zapier. But with that being said, two key points here. First of all, if you're an employee at BIPS and you have a lot of appointments in your calendar, you might not want to do this, because what this is going to do is it's going to scan your calendar and send you a message every single time you have an upcoming appointment. So if you have 8 appointments a day, it's going to text you 8 times a day. Okay. If you have 1 or 2 and you forget to check when your appointments are upcoming, which most of our employees don't, but if you only have 1 or 2, then this might be helpful. I really did it for myself because I wanted to test this out and see how it works. And I'm pretty satisfied with it, and that's why I'm suggesting this to other people, most importantly for clients, because when you only have 2 or 3 or 5 appointments a week, then this will definitely be helpful. So let's get started on this. And also one other thing. I took a quick peek at my Zap in there, and from what I can tell, it's only allowing me to link to my Google Calendar. It's not showing like some other kind of like iCalendar or whatever. So you might be restricted to using a Google Calendar with this, but of course a Google account is free. You can link it to whatever email you want and then get your calendar from there. Um, so let's just get going and create a Zap with our calendar, and I'll show you how that works. So we're going to either start by inputting information in here in this text box here where it says create a Zap, or we're going to go ahead and on the right side of the screen over here do create a Zap. Gets you to the same thing, okay? And actually you can see I have a bunch of Zaps here, some that I use and some that I don't. What I'm going to do is I'm going to know what, I'll delete those later. We'll go create a Zap. And what would you like to automate? I want to receive, R-E-C-E-V-E, okay, so we've got spelling issues here. Okay, we don't, okay, did that work? Here's your Zap. Get an SMS for new appointments. So it's trying to help me go with this, okay? So we'll try this. New appointment. Oh no, that's not good. Let's start over. I don't like that. We're going to do a new Zap. Okay, create a new Zap. And, or let's just go down here, trigger. That's much better. So forget about this little search bot, not so useful. AI failing us again. Let's do a trigger, okay? So we're going to click here on the word trigger, and we're going to click on Google Calendar, okay? So a trigger is an event that starts your Zap. In this case, it's my Google Calendar. I'm going to click that. Once you do that, so I've logged back into my Zapier account, and I'm going to do the Zap over again because I don't like the way I did it during the first recording, and I want to show you a much cleaner demonstration of doing it, which will be less confusing for you as an end user. So here we are at my dashboard and for Zapier, and you can see that I only have 2 Zaps in there right now. I cleaned it up and I want to create a Zap. So I'm going to go ahead on the left side, click Create Zap. And from here, we're going to go down. We're going to do trigger an event. And in this case, it's a Google Calendar event. And it's already linked to my Google Calendar, but if you're not already linked in Zapier to your Google Calendar, you might have to do that. Here, if we click change, we'll see what happens. Right? It's going to give me the option to change which calendar it's triggering from. Now, what we're going to do next is click the actual event that we want to use for the trigger. When I click here, We're going to do the event start. So when an event starts, we want to have Zapier start doing actions. We're going to say continue. It's showing that it's my calendar. It's actually linked to my personal calendar, which is fine. And we're going to continue. So it's just verifying that we are connected to that calendar here. Then we're going to click on the actual calendar item that we want. We're going to scroll down and find the Centralreach calendar that we previously linked to our Google Calendar, and it's just showing the technical name for that calendar, not the friendly name that we gave it. So I'm going to click that radio button. Here we can set the time before, and in this case right now the default is 15 minutes. What you want to do is set up the amount of time before the event happens that you get triggered, that you get this SMS. So we want that event SMS to be far enough in advance that it's helpful, but not too far in advance where you've already forgotten about the appointment. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to select this as 6 hours in advance, and that will make it so that if our appointment is at 3 p.m., we're going to get a notification at 9 a.m. that we have a 3 p.m. appointment. We're going to change the units from minutes, because right now it'll be 6 minutes. We'll change it to hours, and you can see that you can do minutes, hours, days, and weeks. And then we're going to hit continue. We're going to test the trigger. It's going to find an event and see if it can work. Now it did locate an event, and it's going to randomly picking that one, and we're going to continue with that selected record. Now we need to do the action. So this is what happens after Zapier finds the event and identifies it as an actionable item. We're going to tell it to send an SMS by Zapier. SMS is short messaging service. That's the original name for a text message. So we're going to send an SMS by Zapier. We're going to say send SMS, and this will be performed when the Zap runs. So it says it there. We're going to say continue. It gives you the information on the number it's going to send it to. We set this up in our profile, and we're going to say continue. In terms of the from number, you're going to pick a telephone number in here. It really doesn't matter. But what I suggest is that you pick one number instead of random, because if you pick random, it's going to use a different telephone number each time, and your text or SMS inbox might get cluttered with many different numbers. So just pick one number, and it'll attempt to always use that number unless that number is not available, and it will go from there. Now, the next thing is you need to put in a message. So we're going to say BIPS appointment reminder, right? You can call it whatever you want. You can change it to BIPS therapy reminder, whatever you want to have it called. Okay, and then we're going to put in the event start time. I'm going to find that event begins, and we can put in the description as well. So it'll put it in as 2 parts. So what will happen is when we get the SMS, it'll say BIPS therapy reminder on such and such date, and then give a description of it. You see there's many different things you can select in terms of the information contained in there. We're going to say continue. and we're going to test this step. Now, I've just received the SMS in my phone. I'm going to bring that up on my computer screen. What we have here is Microsoft's Phone Link app, which shows my phone on my desktop. So it's as though you're looking at my phone right now. And what you can see in my inbox is that I have a message from the telephone number 650-646-9270 that I have a therapy reminder. When I click on that, it has the information that I put in Zapier. BIP's therapy reminder, November 26th at 8:39 a.m. So that's when my appointment is supposed to be, and that's a test event. Okay. So we're going to go back here and we're going to say publish. And it has published our event. It says this version is in use. It's turned on. Okay. We also want to rename this Zap. So we're going to call this BIP's Zap Demo. Okay. And we'll go back to our dashboard. And our Zap is not showing up. Let's refresh. There it is. BIP's Zap Demo. Okay, this is the one that we just created. So now every time that we have an appointment and 6 hours in advance, it's going to send us a text message saying you have an appointment upcoming. So I just want to clean up my Zapier desktop here for stuff that's not being used or not working or things like that. So what we'll do is just check off these unused ones, or ones that I did here for this test. All of these I don't want anymore. And I'm going to go up here and click delete. And it gives me a warning. Once we do this, we can't undo this. It's okay. Oh, maybe I need to turn these off before I can delete them. There we go. All right. So now I've just cleaned up that inbox and I just have the 2 that I like to run. And then once I'm done here, I can log out. Now, once that's done, anytime that I have an appointment in that special Google Calendar that I did, it will send me a text message saying, hey, you have an appointment upcoming in 6 hours. Well, in my case, it's actually 1 hour. That gives me enough time for the limited amount of appointments I put in Centralreach to be reminded that I have that appointment upcoming. I hope this was helpful. If you ever need more help with this, you can feel free to reach out to us. Visit our website, bipservices.com. B like boy, I like indigo, P like Paul, services, plural.com. Thanks.